more action from the summer cyclocross, and I got a fairly decent start, but this young junior went out like he was shot out of a cannon, absolutely full gas, and Paul Lloyd got the better of me. But this start was full on, as you'd expect from all cyclocross races, and the conditions were bumpy, the grass was long, and it was up a savage climb. But I'm in third wheel, so not too bad. A better start than last week, because I managed to get grid on the front. I had an absolute nightmare on this corner. I don't know why I decided to go straight into the muddy section. I should have been taking that wide. My brain was all fuzzy after getting my legs absolutely ripped off for this first 30 seconds. But the young juniors, they do know how to go for it. They are fully committed to a start of the race. So I take my hat off to the youngsters, because this was the fastest start I've had in a while. And I was thinking to myself, we haven't even got to the climb yet. When I get to the climb, your boy's going to be in trouble. You can see even gapping Paul Lloyd is seriously impressive. But Paul's got such power on the flats and the drags and through these grassy sections that he can just close down gaps. And I was thinking to myself right now that if I didn't start to just this initial start and the high surges just are really stinging my legs, and I was thinking to myself, if I don't ease off the gas a little bit, I'm going to absolutely blow my biscuit. And I could see this little gap opening up, and there was absolutely nothing I could do. At the moment, I feel where I'm struggling is the real top end spikes and when people attack. When I settle into sort of my pace, my rhythm, and I can just go at a sustainably hard pace I know I can hold for the 40 minutes, I'm absolutely golden, which we'll get onto later in the race. But you can see this gap's gone, and Paul Lloyd's already put an attack in to go to the front. The man is an animal, and I said to him at the end of this race, can you slow down next week, because I need some footage for my race videos. And he said he might slow down for 15 minutes and then he'll dispatch me. But I hope he doesn't. I want him to keep ripping my legs off, because it's all part of the fun. But I thought I'd be able to bridge back on this descent, but they were absolutely railing it. And I'm not far off, and I was hoping sort of all the mountain bike work I've been doing would help me close the gap on the descent, but I just couldn't quite bridge over. And I knew that I needed to be, you need to be on the wheel before the drag when you're racing against Paul, because as soon as he gets a flat drag, he's going to put the hammer down, and the bloke's got some watts, that's for sure. So I was thinking to myself coming down here, I've got to get on this train so that when we get to the start finish, I can be a wheel sucker and hopefully try and recover. The annoying thing is my heart rate isn't through the roof like it was at the end of the race. I don't have that top end real powerful surge at the moment, and I just feel like I've got this one pace and that is all I've got. But as you can see, I unfortunately didn't close that gap down, and they signed, sealed, delivered, dispatched me. But I do catch back up with the young junior later in the race, because I'm pretty sure Paul must rip his legs off and he blows his biscuit. But coming into the start finish straight, I didn't get back on, and I knew the gap was just going to grow then. So as soon as Paul hit that straight, he put the hammer down, and your boy does not have them sort of watts to get back on. So it was literally just a case of settling into my pace now, trying to recover from that initial lap. And you'll see when we get to the top of the climb again in a second, just the gap they put into me, they've gone out of sight now. He is so fast down the straights. So yeah, at the top you can see on the right, Paul's started to pull away as well now, and that gap has opened up, and I was then joined by, I think it was James on my wheel right now. And I was thinking, to be honest, I could do with him coming round me ready for the drag. So this next corner, as we got to the bottom, I run it wide, hoping that he would come round. This was actually my plan. Little did I think that he was going to attack when he did come round. I thought he was just going to cruise round and I'd be able to jump on his wheel and get a tow. The lad went thermonuclear on me and absolutely dispatched me. I was like, that was not what I intended to do. I thought I'd run the corner wide, let him get on the front so I could be a wheel sucker, and he dropped me like a sack of potatoes. He came past like an absolute steam train and I just couldn't react to it. So yet again, I've now fallen back into 4th place, and it was just a case of getting into a rhythm now and slowly but surely trying to pick them young juniors off, because I knew they'd gone off hard, but I wasn't sure if they'd be able to hold it. So you can see here, I've managed to work my way back up into the battle for 3rd place, and like, I knew that when you're jumping up from like youth racing to an extra like 20 minutes of adult racing, it's a big ask, and if you go off hard, you will pay the price. So a little bit of experience for Georgie boy. If I know something about going off hard, that is one thing I do know, because I always do it in the mountain bike races. But I tried to come round here and he closed the door on me. So I knew as soon as I got another opportunity, I was just going to go. Because as soon as you get past as well, it gets in their head a little bit. And I made sure that I put a bit of a dig in when I come out this next corner, because I don't want to give him a toe up this next drag. So coming out of here, I whacked it a little bit, get a little bit of a gap, stay on the gas so that you're not towing them up this next drag, and then again, spike again. And now we are up into 3rd place, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. You can see the rider in front. It was time to try and bridge over and get in that battle for 2nd. And surprisingly, I do manage to bridge the gap that you can see here. And it was just before that start-finish straight. So absolute result. Your boy's going to be a wheel sucker. It's the only way to do it. Just as we got onto the start-finish straight, I made contact and I thought, I've got to sit in, recover now. And I thought he had blown his biscuit. It turns out he hadn't, because as soon as we got to the climb, he went thermonuclear on me and dispatched me again. So I got back into the... I just couldn't cover this attack. When he went here, bang, I didn't have the legs to go. So I knew, rather than burning every match I had, I just had to settle into a pace I could maintain to the top and try and slowly chip away and hope that he had gone too early, because we still had 3 laps left at this point. So you'll be pleased to know your boy managed to shut the gap down again. So I was back on his wheel and I thought, I'm not going to let him get to the steep part of the climb this time and attack me, because he was way stronger. I thought, when we hit the bottom of the climb, I'm going to go at my pace that I know I can sustain to the top. So I'm pretty happy with the finish of this race now. You can see the heart rate's only at 170. And I felt like I couldn't get it up. But just here, I thought, right, this is the time to go now. Give it a dig and see if he goes with it. Because it's probably about a 90-second effort from here, rather than like the 10-second max effort. So I went and I just thought, you've got to hang on all the way to the top now. And to be 32 minutes into the race and then put this effort in, I came away from the race thinking either I paced this really well and attacked at the right point, or I was not working hard enough at the beginning, because I couldn't get my heart rate up, and then I just started railing it and the heart rate got up to like 180. I managed to get the gap, and then it was just a case of absolutely full gas. Now, I was not going to be able to catch Paul. He was in a different postcode to us. He was way ahead, but I was absolutely railing it now. I managed to get the gap, and then it was just a case of absolutely emptying the tank. We had 1 lap left. I knew, you know, when you've got that final dig up the last climb, I was like, just bury it now. Heart rate maxing out for the night. I think it was at like 182, but super happy with the finish of this race. Like I said, I'm going to take that I paced this well tonight and didn't blow all my biscuits early doors. Saved a bit of gas, managed to put down the hammer when it mattered, and you can see that group on the left was where James was. So I'd opened up the gap now, and it was just a case of keeping it on 2 wheels, getting to the finish line, and the overall result, I think I was only about 38 seconds behind Paul Lloyd, so I'm actually pretty pleased with that. The week before I was about 2 minutes behind him, so we're making progress in the right direction, ladies and gentlemen. It's a 2nd place overall, 1st senior because Paul's a vet 40, and we're closing the gap on you, Mr. Paul Lloyd. So next week is going to be the week where I stay with him for more than 1 lap, hopefully. But I hope you've enjoyed this little race footage video, and I will catch you in the next one.